Okay, so folks, I've got with me two new people, and I'll try to make this jitter-free as possible. Mike McKenna and Jay Moonah. Mike McKenna is in the top left of the screen, and Jay is right down below, bald head and all.
Let's block him out.
I can put on a visor if the glare is too much. Whatever you need.
No, that's okay. So, I understand that you guys are coming out with a 4-track EP called Breaking News, right?
Yes.
It's right here.
Yeah, we did. Well, we've got it done. It just got it today.
Okay.
And got 4 songs on it.
Okay.
See how it goes, and hopefully, if it does okay, we'll add some more songs or do another CD.
So,
but very nice to have it going.
When did you guys actually start this project?
It was more than a year ago, because we started doing, Mike, remember, we did it, we had one song out at the Blues Summit, because actually it was debuted, Holger Peterson debuted one song almost a year ago. He did that interview with you at the Blues Summit, so it's one song that's been played on CBC, and we recorded that song before that, but then we kind of took a long break. And we spent some time writing some more songs and mixing. And Mike's a busy guy. It's hard to get him down here. He's got to feed his cats and do other things. So, it took a little while. But it's done, and I think we feel like it sounds pretty good.
So we'll start with Mike. Mike, how long have you been actually doing blues music?
Since prehistoric times, as far as I can tell. Basically, I've been doing it since the 60s when I started playing professionally, in bands. And it's been a long road, but yeah, I've been playing quite a few bands. I mean, my first real band was a band called Whitey and New Roulettes, which was part of a R&B circuit band, and where it contained Whitey Glenn, a drummer, famous drummer from Toronto, and also George Oliver and other people involved. And then I moved on to the Village, Yorkville Village, where I played with my band that I eventually formed up from a trio called Luke and the Apostles.
Okay.
And then so on and so forth. I played with the Ugly Ducklings, and then I eventually started McKenna Mendelssohn Mainline, which is probably what I'm best known for.
Okay.
And with Joe Mendelssohn, or Mendelssohn Joe, however you want to say it. And then I played with Downchild Blues Band, a version of the Guess Who, and other players around Murray McLaughlin. I did some session work and stuff,
Oh.
So I've been in it a while.
I'd say. You've been in many bands. And what about you, Jay?
Yeah, not quite as many as Mike. I played a lot in Toronto. I started kind of in the 80s and played mostly with bar bands around Toronto scene, so cover bands and some original music. Most of the stuff, definitely nothing as kind of notable as some of the bands that Mike was in, but probably the best known bands in the Toronto scene I played in were kind of in the early 2000s. There was a band called Uncle Seth that had a little bit of success on CBC and some other things. And there was a band that we had for a while called the McFlys, which was an 80s acoustic band. So we took all the songs of the 80s and we put it on accordions and harmonicas and stuff, which was a lot of fun. So those are probably the two most notable things before I met Mike.
So when did you two actually meet together, since both of you were traveling different paths? I'm assuming it was either at a blues festival or some event?
It was specifically, we were introduced by our mutual friend, John Johnson. I guess, Mike, you've known him for about 30 years, something like that almost?
John Johnson was associated with Pacemaker Records, which was re-releasing some of the old mainline music, Ducks music, you name it. They're like a vintage record thing. And John Johnson knew Jay, and I think it was just we met and the music thing.
It was
played at a club. Where was it? At the club
The old
where you
Stone
were
Cottage.
working.
It was actually it was a funny story for me because so we were doing some shows and actually I was opening for Al Lerman upstairs at our local bar, which is called the Old Stone Cottage, and John and a group of people were kind of promoting that show. And so I opened the show with Al, and then somebody said, "Oh, well, we want to have this after party downstairs, but we want to do something different because you played upstairs solo, so we want to do a different thing." And somebody said, "Well, why don't we get a guitar player to play with you?" And John said, "Well, how about Mike McKenna?" And I said, "Mike McKenna? Like, I didn't know him that well. I didn't really know him at all at that point." And I said, like, he's a pretty well-known guy, and like, what's he gonna be like? And sometimes you meet lead guitar players, and they can be kind of a little have a little ego and a little hard to get along with. So I'd meet up with Mike, and he's like the nicest, craziest hoser I've ever met, and we got along, like, I think from the start, right? And we started jamming together. We played that show with Al. We jammed a bit with Al that night, and I think you said at the end of the night, it's like, "Hey, you want to do some more of this?" Like, I would love to do some more of this. So we started doing some duo stuff, and then I've joined Mike's band since then. So yeah, it's been a great ride, and that was 2016. I actually looked it up today. With that show.
Yeah, I made Al and him give me my money, so their money, so I actually felt very happy.
Oh, there we
So
go.
I was a nice guy but that's about it. Yeah, we just came together through friends, and it's kind of like the older meets the newer, but there's good on both sides. He's a young, energetic, talented man who's got lots of energy and going. I'm older, kind of slower than I used to be, but still playing with lots of energy. But it just worked out well, and we continued on with it, and this is what we've come up with at this point, And not to mention, or to mention that I have a band called Slidewinder, which does all the mainline music, and it's been through a few morphing people, and it ended up that Jay came in and has been playing with me in the band, and that's also works out pretty well because him and the other guys, everything's worked out great where we're playing a bunch of the mainline songs as well as a lot of our old blues songs, and so that worked out pretty good too. But we also do the duo thing, which is what we've got the CD out now with.
Now, with the CD out, I'm assuming that you're going to not necessarily be touring, but you're probably going to be doing a lot of gigging as the duo?
I hope so. I think that it's a matter, if we get some publicity from it, some airplay maybe, and people that are interested, it's like a very fresh sound for us. And I think it's something that's a little different than the norm, but straight along the blues lines, and traditional blues. But there's a little bit of everything in there. My guitar influences, Jay's influences, and we wrote 4 songs that, kind of dedicated to our blues brothers and our blues people that we enjoy and respect.
Yeah, the singles that I've been
and
listening
just like
to.
specifically, I think I can say we did this. So we just booked for the Lighthouse Blues Festival in Kincardine. I actually just confirmed that today as a duo. But one of the nice things about the duo format and also with the band is that in some cases we can kind of do both, because it would be, some festivals will have different stages and different kinds of formats. So for example, a few years ago we did some duo shows, some duo sets at the Kitchener Blues Fest, and then we played with the full band and did all the mainline stuff. And that was a lot of fun because we could do sort of different formats and different size rooms. So the nice thing about the duo is we can fit it into like a club sort of environment, and then we've got the band that we can go up on stage with and rip through the main line and all that stuff. So it's a good...
Yeah, it gives us a lot of latitude here.
Yeah.
If they come, like he said, they come, okay, we want a duo, but we also want a band, or vice, whatever. We've got it covered, And that worked out great because we got to play as a duo, we got to play as a band, and that's what I'm hoping will happen through more of this and the CD as well.
Okay. Now, that aside, as musicians, you're also people, human beings. Do any of you have time to actually do hobbies in between gigs?
Hobbies?
Yes.
Well, that is, I think so. My thoughts, if I may speak first on it, it's just guitars, and guitars. I've always had an interest in guitars, playing different guitars, enjoying, and I still enjoy the music as much as I do, but I also enjoy private and quiet life as well. So hobbies is just enjoying the music. I think I'm more into watching videos on how to fix guitars, repair guitars, buy, sell, trade guitars, So if there's a hobby, that's what mine is, basically,
Yeah.
And Jay is, I think what do they call it? Used to be down in Kentucky. He's got a still somewhere up in the hills someplace.
Yeah, well,
only kidding.
I do have an interest in craft beer and things like that. I'm not a brewer, but I do a lot of I go to events and things like that, so I'm kind of interested in that. And a lot. I think a lot of it's funny too because a lot of my hobbies are kind of music related too. The other thing that we do around here on a regular basis, bi-weekly, is there's a ukulele group that plays just up the street. It's the same place actually we played that gig with Al, the old Stone Cottage.
Uh-huh.
And so every couple of weeks we get a bunch of people together in a room and play ukulele together, which is a lot of fun. And that's very, it's musical, but it's also very social and a lot of fun. I've actually made a lot of friends through that community. Otherwise for me, it's, sort of family life. I have a 17-year-old kid who still doesn't mind hanging around me and a wife who still doesn't mind hanging around me. So I spend as much time as I can with them too.
Okay. So both of you are very human. So that's a good thing.
We keep ourselves busy and, we have our different attitudes and different, things that we're interested in. But at the same time, plus, Jay he's got a solo career, which he does on his own.
Okay.
And so that keeps him busy as well. But, to be active at my age in this business and still getting people who enjoy what we do is a tremendous lift and tremendous amount of just feeling great. It makes you feel good when you go to gigs and people actually come and go, wow, this is good. So
now I'm going to have to check out the main line because I wasn't aware of it through my research. Jay,
sorry?
I'm going to have to check out the McKenna main line.
Yeah, the Stink album is a classic. People love it, and on my Facebook, I post a lot of stuff. I have several pages which I promote and that. But if you're interested in the mainline thing and you're not that familiar with it, then there's quite a history there that I think you probably would enjoy to check out. So by all means, your listeners and yourself, if you can, if you're not that familiar with it, go check it out. You'll love it.
Mm-hmm.
The Stink album is the big one.
Yeah, I was going to say, all those records are really good, but the Stink album is really the standout record. Like, that's the record that I think.
We did that in England in Trident Studios. We lived over there for a year and actually recorded and toured. So when Mainline officially formed, we eventually went over to London, and we lived there for about a year and ended up touring throughout Europe and England. And the Stink album was done in London, England at Trident Studios, which at the time in '69 was considered to be a pretty high-tech studio. But a lot of people from the Stones on to the Beatles, whoever, recorded there. But that's where our album was recorded. And I think we just grabbed some of the magic of London at that time. That album has been considered a classic by many people. Okay. And I think you'd enjoy it. But there's a long story. But again, if you check the history out of Mainline, I think you'll find some very interesting facts that you might be able to enjoy and share with some of the folks that listen.
Oh, definitely. And Jay, what do you do other than play music? I understand that you have your own solo thing going on.
Yeah, so I have I always say it's a band. The band is called Broke Fuse, and I'm the only one in the band, so it's a one-man band. And so I was saying maybe that's because it's the most the band I could afford, or the best people I could get, or whatever it is. But it's me, and I have a suit. I don't know if you can see it. I have a suitcase back there that I have a kick pedal 4 and a tambourine, guitar, harmonica, and that's what I do live. And then if you hear the records, I'm obviously doing a lot of overdubbing and things like that. But that's I've had that going for a couple years. Actually, that was kind of what led to me meeting Mike, because I was doing that as a opener for Al and for other people, and then we sort of added in the Mike McKenna element to make it the duo.
So, are you both in the same city?
Sorry?
Are you both living in the same city?
We are. We both live. Actually, if you want to be real technical, we both live in Scarborough, which is the old part of Toronto.
Scarbarians, as they call us.
That's why there's a song on the album called Scarborough Blues.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, about missing the Scarborough buses. If you don't find it in the right time, you're gone. You're done. You're wandering through Scarborough for the rest of your life.
I don't doubt it. I'm from New Brunswick, so I drove recently an 18-hour drive from Moncton, New Brunswick, all the way to Niagara Falls in one day.
Oof.
I'll never do that type of driving ever again. It was taxing and
I've done that drive. I have family in Moncton and in Halifax. I've done those drives, man. You can't do that in one day. That's crazy.
We decided, what the hell? Let's throw the caution to the wind.
Yeah, well, good for you. You're alive to tell the tale.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
Well,
I salute you.
Oh, thank you. It was a wonderful eventual, what do you call it? It was memories being built, especially because of the trucks that we were afraid of being plastered to the front of. But other than that, it was quite a sight to see it in person. Now, I'm kind of wondering, with the fact that you guys live in the same city, you don't do a lot of traveling, except during those festivals and whatnot, but do you have a favorite food dish?
Probably shawarma, right, Mike? That's what we get sometimes.
Yeah, like cheeseburgers, I think, are the best.
Shawarma?
No, I think it's, shawarmas. That kind of fast food is really good. Some of the more, the food from, Indian food, Pakistani food, or French food, it all has a certain thing about it that is good. So
I gotta pitch my roots here. My father's from Trinidad. He's actually down there for the winter, and we actually last night we had some. It's called doubles. So if you go to a roti shop, you get a doubles, and a doubles is just like a roti with I would say chana, but it's chickpeas and curry.
Uh-huh.
And it was invented in the town where my dad is from San Fernando, and it's so yummy. It's so good.
Oh, they're very good.
Yeah,
they're tasty.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Well, with this all said and done, the first single is out right now, called Whiskey Bottles. We're hoping to see the album drop very soon. For those that want to know more, if you actually follow them on Facebook, and if you do a Google search for Mike McKenna or McKenna Moonah Blues Duo,
You got it.
You'll find an actual page where you can sign up for the pre-release.
Yeah. And there's we have a website. It's at bluesduo.ca. So that's the site.
Now, with what you've done, which is an EP, it's only 4 songs, which can't be said that it's minor in any way, shape, or form, because it's music and it's composed and it's all originals from both of you, I think.
Yes.
Is there any future plans about releasing vinyl, or well, if it goes well with the EP, you'll probably end up having a longer version of an album?
I think what we would probably do, and Mike we can talk more about this later. I think what we would love to do is do a full band album at some point. And so take some of these songs and maybe do them full band with the Slidewinder band, and then maybe do some other songs, maybe some cover songs, maybe some more original songs. But that would be my ambition. Mike, I think you probably agree with that, right?
Yeah, I think the main thing is I'd love to do vinyl on it.
Sure.
And, it's if we could do a full CD or a full album, eventually it would be absolutely wonderful to have vinyl. Nothing like a good record, full record vinyl, in my opinion. although being old school, that I think people still today get a kick out of having in their hand, that you can actually see it. Something about a CD and that, but getting a full CD, full band thing would be really nice. And if we get, get some success with this CD, it would be great to continue and add more songs, and then maybe do a whole album, of our tunes, and with a full band as well. The band Slidewinder, for people that want to come out and see it, we're there every one Sunday at the Black Swan on Danforth Avenue in Toronto, if they happen to be here. We'd love to get a record out. I would love to get a CD happening for this. But it all takes time. It's a matter of how, successful we are. But we'll continue making music as long as we can, and continue doing what we're doing and getting some new stuff out there as well. There's been a lot of Facebook reaction. We've only had it like a week, and just from publicizing it, we're not getting reaction from if it's a brand new Beatles album, but we're getting, reaction from people going, congratulations, it's great that you're still got some recording going. Yeah. Looking forward to hearing the CD. So that's momentum, and that's good momentum,
Well, that's good. Now, one last question, because I've got both young and old on this particular video.
Or old and older is probably more accurate.
Never mind the young guy. Just talking to the older guy.
It's not that bad, but in your honest opinions, I need a pro and con of what you've actually had to face while doing your music. Be it an event that kind of left you flabbergasted, or something that was completely monumental with a great yelp of joy. So we'll start with the pro for both of you.
Can you repeat the question just
a pro and con moment during your career?
Okay. Well, you got it.
Yeah, I guess going to see shows like in the early days, and growing up in Toronto with the age I was at. The place that I love to go was the Ontario Place Forum, which was the people who are my, in a certain age in Toronto will remember this cool rotating stage, and you could pay $5 to go to Ontario Place, and they had like every kind of music you can think of. I saw Jerry Lewis there. I saw Italy back in the day, Larry Gowan, the great Scarborough guy. Later on, Bare Naked Ladies, who were guys that I knew growing up a little bit. All kinds of different music, and it was very cheap, and it was very cool, and you could go at all ages. We started going when we were kids. So that, to me, kind of was the biggest inspiration of playing music.
Okay. And what about you, Mike?
I can't stand this shit. You pay $5.50.
We're having trouble hearing you, I think, because I think there's some background.
He goes, I can't do that.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'll connect.
I think Mike's got some visitors here in the background.
Yeah, what's it called?
I think we got a call from somebody else.
Mike, we can't hear you because I think it's picking up the other guys in the room.
It's already hooked up to somebody.
We're not getting you. We're getting the guys in the background. We're not hearing you at all. That's funny.
Why can't you keep talking to me?
Yeah, he is. Fucking weird.
I don't know. Can you hear Mike? I can't hear him at all. Mike, could you move away from the other guys in the room, or get them to move?
Alright, try to connect now. What is it?
I don't know what's happening right
now. I need to turn your Bluetooth off.
Oh, you turned on Bluetooth.
I'm right on the connection. I don't need to change the Hold on, my son's gonna try and
Okay.
fix my Bluetooth. Just turn the Bluetooth on. Did you turn it on? Your Bluetooth is connected to this thing. Can you
Oh no!
give me your phone? But if you take okay, it's all right. You deal with it then.
Turn that off, Mike.
I've been trying to ask him. He doesn't want to let me do it.
But dude, just turn off the whatever device that is.
Well, that's what I'm trying to. Jay, this is Jay, eh?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hey, Jay.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, if I could just scroll down and turn your Bluetooth off.
Yeah, let him do that.
Here, Mike. If you can do it.
Mike McKenna Jr. there. Hey, buddy. I'm trying to do an interview. Can you turn off the Bluetooth?
I'm so sorry, Jay.
Yeah, it's okay. That's why editing exists.
Good to see you, buddy. There we go, Mike.
Yep, I'm back.
Oh, there you go. So,
Okay, sorry for that.
No, that's okay.
The question was the best time or what was
Best
it?
and worst time, basically.
Yeah.
The pro and con?
Yeah.
Yeah. Best memory.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but what I understand what the question is, but the best time that I could remember that really made me want to play was I was lucky enough to play with a lot of the early blues people like Buddy Guy and Canned Heat guys, and Mainline was on a show twice in a year with Jeff Beck at the Grandy Ballroom, and opening up for the original Jeff Beck group with Rod Stewart and everybody. So I think playing those gigs was the thing that was the best thing that could happen to me, and really gave me confidence and was just like a lightning bolt going through, my energy level. And as far as the con is concerned, I'm not sure how to say there was any cons in it. The music business is really tough.
Okay.
And as a former, player of many years, or a player of many years, I think one of the things that I found was that, I don't know, some of the dishonesty and some of the kind of people were kind of like in the music business, kind of like flighty, and I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything like that, but I found a lot of that. That's where Joe Mendelsohn wrote a lot of songs concerning, about the phoniness of the business. But the actual musicians of the business, losing Jeff Beck, playing with him was a pro. Losing him on a year ago or so was a definite con, in a sense that it was a real downer, and I think it really broke my heart. But that was something that, being in the business I have been and going through the things I did, it's something. I'm just writing a book as well. So there's lots of good stuff to it. But there's also a lot of, if you're going to be a musician, be prepared and have a hard side, because there's a lot of ups and downs to it. And that's the deal. But if you're lucky enough to get involved in it, it's also very good. But there's a lot of stuff on the side you got to be careful of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good news, good and interesting facts that we need to keep in mind. So anything you guys want to add before we finish the interview?
Add stuff?
Check out the EP and look us up, and whether it's with the Slidewinder band or as a duo, I think we're always looking forward to a gig, right? We're playing on Berkeley weekend. We're always looking forward to the next gig.
Okay.
Facebook, and come and get on my Facebook. There's lots of pages concerning all the bands, and Slidewinder, and check out Jay and all his arrest with the FBI and stuff. And unbelievable.
My police blotter.
Thanks.
But thank you very much for the interview, and please say hello to everyone out there. We'd love to come out and play sometime.
Oh, definitely. We can actually hope for that, especially here in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.